Hello viewers out there. Yes, today I am on fire because I am reading these books and I'm loving it. I always make sure to just read the books a few days ahead before I make these videos, just to make sure that I'm solidified in what I'm saying and I'm not just speaking out of thin air. And today it is my pleasure to present to you, ta-da, boom, there we go. There it goes. This one is The Languages and Keys of Love. The one that I did prior to that was The Price of Love. So once you understand the concept behind the book Price of Love, then you are willing to go to The Languages and Keys of Love. But she wrote the book in a way that you can just read them interchangeably. But I prefer that procedure because I feel like The Price of Love preps you for the keys and the languages of love. Okay. Now, by the she, I mean your favorite author, my favorite author, Stacey Amewoye. Let's give it a clap for her. Woo! Okay, so she's doing such an amazing job and she's just a great example for authors and writers out there. Yes, there's a difference between an author and a writer, because a writer just writes about anything, but an author is an official writer. It's a solidified, somebody who makes books that is published and is meant to be comprehended by the masses. Yes, I myself, I would say I'm a writer, but I'm not an author yet, and I aspire to be just like this woman on this beautiful page. And once again, her name is Stacey Amewoye. Please make sure to follow this YouTube channel. Please make sure to go to staceyfoundation.org. Once again, it's staceyfoundation.org, and it's basically her website. You can find out all the videos and other things that she does on her YouTube page, which is Stacey Foundation, or you can even type in Stacey Amewoye and you would find it. If you're guessing how to spell Stacey Amewoye, her name is right here. It's right here, S-T-A-C-Y, Stacey, and then Amewoye is A-M-E-W-O-Y-I. A-M-E-W-O-Y-I. Stacey, S-T-A-C-Y. So Stacey Amewoye on her YouTube page, staceyfoundation.org on her website, and Stacey Amewoye and Stacey Amewoye again on her Twitter, her Instagram, her Facebook, and across all her different social media platforms. So watch out for more of her stuff. You can find her book on Amazon, ebooks. You can also find it on Barnes & Noble, Walmart, Target, anywhere that they sell books, Australian books, European books. Any part of the continent that you're on, or any part of the country or the globe that you're on, you can find her book. Yes, in Africa, you can also get her book. You can also privately DM her for a copy, and she'll probably send you the link of where to find the book on Amazon. And basically, her first book, which is The King's Choice, has been doing good, has been rating off the charts, and we thank God and we encourage everybody who has not yet purchased the book to purchase it in order to know more about the author. And then we have this one right here alongside The Price of Love, which is her new releases. She also has other novels out, such as The Missing Fathers Volume 1 and 2 and 3, and then Missing Mothers is something that she's also produced and will be, having it on the other markets as well. Thank you guys so much, so much for your like, subscribe, and then for your comments. I also would encourage everybody who has not yet put on the notification bell to put up the notification bell so that when her channel uploads a new video, you'll be able to see. Now, me being a fan of Stacey, or Madam Stacey that I am, I would like to just say that I really thank you guys so much for all the big stars and all the people who have been receiving her book, and those who have not yet. What are you doing, guys? Come on, let's get on this train. Let us support our own. It is a hard time we give a platform to somebody who's this great so she can excel and put Africa on the map. Not just Ghana, but Africa on the map as a whole. She's doing her thing in the States, in Canada, and in other European countries, even in Australia, which is another continent. And then she's doing her things across Africa. So we appreciate and we applaud her for that. And today we're going to talk about this book. Now, she normally dedicates her books to certain people. So this series of her love book, she dedicated to, drumroll please, Ekumama Zimbi. Yes, Ekumama Zimbi is a very inspirational woman. She's an activist. She's a radio and TV person now, and she's just been doing amazing things for a very long time in Ghana, and she's continuing to do it. That's why Stacey Foundation is recognizing her and dedicating this book to her. And I'm pretty sure that Ekumama Zimbi is somebody that has inspired my favorite author, which is Stacey Amewoye, and now she's writing this book. So let's get to the nitty-gritty of this book. Enough talking. I know, right? Enough talking. Let's go to the good stuff. So there are just a few things that I highlighted in this book. I don't want to give much away, and I don't want to spoil the book for you. I want you guys to get the book and get the knowledge on yourself. So I'm not going to spoil much for you, but let us start. So basically, this starts with anger in relationships, and then I'll talk about marriage and family. Yes, anger in relationships and marriage and family. So anger in relationships can be found in page 54. So let us go directly to page 54. For those who want to read it, it's page 54, chapter 4, and it says anger in relationships, and it says anger is an emotion. Anger, we all know anger is an emotion, right? If you don't know anger is an emotion, you've been sleeping under a rock. Anger is an emotion. It's usually an emotion that triggers a response. Most of the times, it's a very negative response. Shout out to people who respond evil with kindness. You know, that's good. So it says anger is an emotional state that varies in intensity. It varies from mild irritation to intense fury and anger. Yes. So basically, anger has stages, and anger, like everything else, is a spectrum. It can be something as mild as just being irritated, being annoyed, to something intense as like a wrath, a hate. Yes. So it talks about anger in relationships, and a few things that I highlighted on here are: number one, it says that develop a good listening ear, meaning that and the book talks about it in page 55. It talks about how sometimes you get in an argument with your partner or with your friend, who, when we say relationship, we're not talking to just the romantic aspect. Like I always say, her books are always like vast and general, that you can apply them to different angles. So just in any type of relationship or bond you find yourself in, make sure that you don't listen to the person just to listen and give a response, because there's some people who just listen to what you're saying just so they can come back with a quick response. You know, no, listen to hear the person out, because when you hear the person out, you'll be able to iron out the intentiveness and be able to like break the tension. But if they just speak and you kind of like respond with them fire for fire, it will just escalate so fast that you might not even know how the relationship struggle or the relationship issue got to where it is. So basically, listen and develop a good listening ear for them. Okay. Also talks about how anger is disruptive in a relationship. See, having anger or being angry is not something that is bad necessarily. It depends on how you express that anger. If your partner wrongs you, or if your family member, anybody that you're in a relationship with, right? Because you can be different relationships that are not intimate or romantic. If you're in those relationships and you're wronged or you feel a certain type of way, the feeling that you have is not bad. But how you choose to express that feeling, how you choose to communicate that feeling, how you choose to bottle up that feeling, or how you choose to deal with that feeling will determine the results. And the results might be negative. So anger itself is not bad. Being angry is not bad. But how do you channel that anger? Some people channel anger and become activists and become, great people who acts as like vocal points of society. They speak out, they protest, they sit in, they boycott, do all these things, like Martin Luther King. I'm pretty sure he was very angry at the situation that Black people were facing, but his anger was not directed towards the whites or the oppressors, but his anger was directed towards changing, and his anger was directed towards having a positive cause or being heard. So in a relationship or any relationship that you find yourself in, having anger is not a bad thing, or being angry is not a bad thing, but please communicate and channel that anger in a positive way so it's dealt with at the minimal level before it gets vast and out of hand. And also, sometimes it's better not to say anything at all. If you're angry and you know the rule says, well, if you have nothing better to say, don't say anything at all. So if you're angry, just don't speak about what's going on. Take time to cool it off. Take time to kind of like vent to yourself, vent to your therapist, vent to a notepad, just wherever you can vent to, and then you just say it out loud. Sometimes inward dealing with things might be better, because if you deal with it inward, it might not have any harsh response. But let's say if you're getting in a fight with your partner and you're just speaking face to face and you're yelling at each other, that back and forth might cause a reaction, and you might just lose your sense of dignity and just do something that you regret. But if you just calm down and listen to music and just find other methods as to calm down your anger before you address the person, because you're always going to have to address the anger. You're always going to address the whatever is causing you to express that anger, but it's better to address it after you've cooled down, after you've come to terms, after you've analyzed everything, and then you go, you know. So I feel like anger is an emotion that is very dangerous when it's left to kind of like do its own thing. Anger is better dealt with when it's just somebody understands the situation at which you're in, and then it's like, okay, you love the person so much that you don't even speak your mind. You go and then you collect yourself and calm down, and then you come to the person and speak to it. That way the conversation between you guys can be productive and it's not just yelling back and forth. So that's that on anger. There's so much more that she talks about. She talks about things that trigger anger. She talks about how to deal with other methods to deal with anger. She talks about the root of most angry situations in a relationship. You know, most situations that might leave you angered, those roots, she talks about it and she tackles it from that little level so that it can help people who are fresh in relationships and those who are also are advanced in relationships to kind of like recognize these certain things and work them out, you know. She also talks about frustration and how sometimes the lack of progress or the stagnant nature of a relationship might cause there to be like a ticking time bomb whereby both parties are just waiting to explode or waiting to just say something, waiting for the next wrong thing in order to just act upon it and lash out. So she also talks about that. Now we're going to move to the next topic which I brought up, which is, one second, I lost my place. It talks about family and marriage. It talks about the concept of being married, the concept of family, and basically I would want to tell you that this book is not just a book that educates, it's a book that takes you on a ride. It's a book that almost gives you that personal experience. It tells, like, it gives you so much insight that you feel like you've been through these things, you feel like you've experienced these truths, and you feel like it's something that you can apply to your life. So let's dive into the aspect of marriage and family, which anybody can find on page, let's see, page 97. So let's go to page 97. It's taking a little bit longer because this book has quite a few pages and I kind of lost my page, but I will find it. 97. Okay, 96, almost there. There we go. It says marriage and family. Marriage and family, and it can be found on chapter 9, page 97 for my avid readers who like to read along. And basically it talks about the fundamental principles that goes into marriage. Marriage is not just a unionship. Marriage is just like two people who are more than compatible, because sometimes compatibility does not guarantee a successful marriage. Just because you get along with somebody, just because you have similar interests, just because you tolerate somebody does not mean that you last with them on the long run. So this book talks about that, and it talks about how the idea of family is built on the responsibilities that a family unit entails. Basically, if you're a mom and you're a dad, right, before you become that mom and dad, you might have had some things that might be having implemented in you from childhood that creates that concept or that notion of family. So before you even create your own family, you have a family that you mirror your relationship after, be with your parents or not. And sometimes if you come from a toxic background, then you might mirror it to the opposite. You might want to do the opposite of what your parents did. So that's what this book talks about. It has so many other things in this book that talks about marriage and family. It even goes into depth and talks about the things that you should consider before marrying, not just looking at personal things, but looking at the personality of the person, looking at how much you're willing to compromise, because there is some compromise in marriage. You're not going to get everything straight for straight, because down the line things are going to pop up, kids, family and input, just so many things that might be problematic if you don't thoroughly do your research and thoroughly read this book to be able to learn about all the little things that entails with being married. And if anything that I can leave with you before I disclose too much information and spoil it for you is the fact that I learned that marriage is not just a coming together of people. Marriage is not just two in one, you know. Marriage is more like two people that merge in a way that they seem like they're one. meaning that mom and dad, or the husband or wife, or the boyfriend or the girlfriend, will come together and merge. They don't force themselves to be that 2-in-1, but it's more like a humble submission. And I know the word submission has a very negative connotation, but I'm not talking submission in like a sexual way, or submission in a weird non-educative way, but I'm talking about submission in a way of like compromising, also in a way of understanding, in a way of building tolerance, but not just tolerance on the fact that like you just tolerate anything, but seeing that, okay, for the sake of X, Y, and Z, I will just lay down this part, just giving away certain parts of your personality, just so that you can merge with this person and ignite that flame. So thank you guys so much for listening to this. Thank you guys so much for your support. Thank you guys for your time, and I'm so grateful. I could go on for days because I've learned so much from this book. This book, once again, is The Languages and Keys of Love. Please show your love. Go to staceyfoundation.org, learn more about the author, and she's just an exciting author. She pours out her experiences, her knowledge, and she pours out everything about her into her books, and you can tell because from a first-hand witness of the type of person she is and her character, it reflects in her book. And she not only just provides information, but she provides ways that you can apply it. So thank you guys so much for watching this. Like, subscribe, comment, and see you on the other end of things. Bye. Enjoy the rest of your day as well, and make sure you check staceyfoundation.org, and make sure you follow her on all her social media platforms at Stacey Ameoye. And also make sure that you show her some love by purchasing her book, because it's for a great cause, and every income that is gained from her purchase or the selling of her book would go towards foundational work, such as projects in Africa, such as providing housing, providing education, providing money for people who just need it, and providing materials for young teenagers and some of the elderly and widows and all these things. So you're actually buying a book not to just educate yourself, but to also to protect and also to support a good cause. Thank you guys so much. Bye.